You know what? I almost felt bad for only being able to point out negative things about this game. But the more I look around, the more I realize that the glazing is out of control. And it's a good thing I make videos like this, because not many people can take the brigading of the Arknights Endfield dick riders that get on their knees at night and pray to Hypergriff for more literal shit to clean off of the ground. With how little compensation or currency that you get from the actual dev team, they might as well just make the entire game pay to play. If the launch of this game barely gave you enough pulls to even touch pity, then what do you think every other update is gonna have in store for you? And by the way, you have to put in a 9 to 5 to get these pulls. And the only leeway that you get is when the devs give you 2 pulls to apologize for messing up for the 20th time. Arknights is probably never gonna get better. And that's okay. You like what you like. Just kidding. It's pretty embarrassing how these developers cosplay looking for feedback and then never actually implement changes that people want. Like, y'all can go ahead and stop putting out that survey bullshit, because we know you don't actually care about what we have to say. What they can actually do is go ahead and get the dev team gathered up for this game, right? And then get them to flip all of us off in a group picture. And I think I would respect them more for that than giving us the 15th survey in a single patch, trying to act like they actually care whether or not the game gets better. Oh, and obviously that was an over-exaggerated amount of surveys. And it sucks that I have to clarify that, because people are going to be like, oh, well, that's actually misinformation. They're just going to spam the whole comment section with that. So, but this company is worse than Hoyo, by the way. I'm at that point with them. I'm sorry for ever saying that Hoyoverse is the worst company on earth, because Hypergriff is even worse than that. And I've only been exposed to their bullshit for not even 2 months. That's right. In all of these years of Hoyo making awful decisions, not only monetarily, but for the longevity of their games, I have already seen enough from Hypergriff. And if you don't think they're that bad right now, it's only a matter of time until they show you even more of what they're capable of. HSR is pretty bad right now, but the whole game is auditable, and just recently they added a skip button, so at least it's starting to respect your time a little bit more. ZZZ also respects your time a little more, as the dailies are pretty easy, and it has that same 10 pull login event that every other game has at the beginning of every patch. And well, Genshin is probably never going to add a skip button, but you know what? I feel more confident that Genshin Impact will make more strides to becoming a better product for the consumer than Arknights Endfield. Yes, it's that bad. I don't know what it is with these devs trying to make this game like one of those gachas that came out in 2010, but do they realize that they aren't Genshin Impact? They don't have the viewership or the player base to try to force their players to be cucks. Now, of course, there still is that small elitist crowd that they will always have to do their bidding no matter what. But come on now, there is a difference between Endfield and Genshin. And honestly, I don't even think that Genshin could get away with some of this garbage that Arknights is trying to pull off, because it's 2026. And so many gacha games are now competing with each other to get the leg up on their competition that they have to innovate. Now tell me something that Endfield is doing that's innovative. Tell me something that they're doing that is significantly better than another gacha game right now, because I would really like to know. So you should tell me, because I'm really curious. And you can't just say the factory system, because that being the only good thing about the game is pathetic when the story sucks, the end game sucks, the gacha system sucks, the pull economy sucks, the new player experience sucks, and the company sucks. And don't tell me that it's whatever because at least the tourists are getting filtered out, because this company advertised this game to everyone, including the mainstream audience. And here's a free consultation for this company. By the way, nobody is going to want to play your game in the mainstream audience if it's some inconvenient garbage, because they only have a certain amount of time to play the game, especially if they play multiple games at the same time. And remember, right, you still can't use PayPal in this game because of the whole PayPal incident around launch. And if you remember, That's probably a good reason you shouldn't be spending money on this game anyway, if we're being honest, because your credit card information is probably going to get leaked to the entire planet. Or continue to spend money, because that is the only way you are going to be able to get limited characters, since they are giving you a whopping 3 pulls in one of their prestigious events that they're putting on, and 2 of those pulls are standard. But what's come up recently might be even worse, where people are getting malware on their PC from using that pull tracker website or whatever for Endfield. And hey, if you needed another reason to not pull on the gacha, then here it is. But it gets to a point where we have to stop making excuses for Hypergriff. I promise that they aren't going to pay you directly if you sit here and defend them. And nobody is probably going to care anyways if they already don't like the game. They are probably going to continue to not like the game or the company itself. Save yourself the time and realize that Hypergriff clearly does not care when it comes to things like this, and it was the exact same thing with the PayPal incident. At this point, you might see people uninstalling the game just because they don't want their data leaked. It's not only because the game is a pile of garbage. Matter of fact, I can give you a quick tutorial on the best solution to avoid any of your info being leaked. And this is going to be the best thing you could possibly do at the moment to keep your information safe. So basically, what you want to do is click on the search bar on your taskbar of your PC. And if you are on PlayStation, this is obviously going to be different, but most of you have a PC. So when you're in the search bar, you want to make absolute sure that you don't hit the P on your keyboard, because I know your search history is pretty questionable. So let's try to stay away from that as much as possible. And then you want to type in storage settings. And then you want to go to installed apps, Arknights Endfield, and then uninstall. And then when it gives you that little goofy ass message where it says, are you sure you want to uninstall or whatever? You want to say hell yeah and get that virus off of your computer. But I'm not going to do that though, because this is our account. So if anyone could pick up the slack for me and get the next 3 or 4 limited 6-star characters, then that would be great. I just don't want my info getting spread everywhere. Then everyone would find out what my username is on OnlyFans. If you're sitting here hate watching me, I just want to ask, how is that benefiting you? And the reason I waited until this far into the video to even address that is because you can't deny that you literally sit there and watch entire videos, which is something that even supporters don't do. So it's like you disliking the video and then commenting that I probably looked through Cornhub all day to sit there and find a Solon lookalike to beat it to is only going to help me in the long run. And another thing I see pretty often too is the fact that a lot of people try to put up this argument that I'm defending Wuthering Waves. And when I'm criticizing another game, I'm trying to somehow defend Wuwa. If that already doesn't make any sense, then good. But if it doesn't somehow sound stupid to you right now, for example, I'm making a video about Arknights Endfield, but because I'm criticizing the game, you'll then get people saying things like, just go back to Wuwa, you're a tourist. Even though I haven't even mentioned Wuthering Waves in a while, actually. And I probably shouldn't have, because now that I have again, people are going to use this as me defending Wuthering Waves, when in reality, I could care less what people think about that game, because who cares? Because first of all, Wuthering Waves is doing great right now. The story has been awesome recently, and the quality of these most recent characters are the best in Gacha. So I don't need to defend that game because it can speak for itself, being the biggest competitor to Genshin Impact to this day, and the numbers speak for themselves. Obviously, in terms of viewership, Wuthering Waves may never reach the level of something like Genshin Impact, because I see Genshin Impact as kind of like a Fortnite type game in this genre, where a lot of little kids play the game, and naturally they have way more time than adults to interact with the media, so the viewership and the playtime for games like that will be way higher than normal. but there's probably never going to be another gacha game in the same category as Wuwa that could reach the same heights as Genshin. So I might make another 5 of these in a row again, like I did a couple weeks ago, if I feel like it, but probably not. So just let me know what you want to see, because the gacha space is so dead right now, and it seems like the only thing still doing great is Genshin. And like I said earlier, it doesn't really count because it's like the Fortnite of the gacha space. So yeah, I really hope that Neverness to Everness is at least okay. And I really have a lot of faith in Nanta because that game looks awesome and it's going to be on all platforms. So I expect it to be popular. Arknights had a lot of potential because it also released on PS5. But like I said, the mainstream audience probably hated the game because of how inconvenient it is to play. Silver Palace is probably going to be pretty good too. But the 2 other games I just mentioned are probably going to have better gacha systems when they come out. And that's a big deal for me personally. So I'm not excited for that game. But it does look really good anyway if we're just talking about face value. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this far if you have. You look cute today. Peace.